what you're worth. Now go out and get what you're worth.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's we're playing the greatest radio show. Jim Cella and Johnny Parlay with the facts. So relax, grab a drink, then let's get back.
Raise that Jolly Roger, Pittsburgh. Your Buccos are back in the playoffs for the second year in a row.
Go Bucks!
I am Jim Cella. You are listening to The Spread, and I think this is only the second time in my whole lifetime that they made the playoffs in back-to-back years. Am I correct?
Second time,
Second time? Only the fourth time in their history?
That sounds about right. And with owner Bob Nutting, how long did he own this team?
I don't... Dude, don't get me started on Bob Nutting.
All
Because
as
he's
I know
terrible, man. He's just terrible. You think he even cares? You think he even cares we're in the playoffs? I don't think he cares. The only thing he cares about is it's going to load his pockets with a little bit more money so then he can sell the team and give his kids a whole bunch of money. That's it. That's all he wants to do.
Yeah, how dare Bob Nutting put these playoff teams out there? He is screwing you over.
He isn't putting anything out there, dude. Neil Huntington and Clint Hurdle are the only ones doing any real work.
Hey, he hired him.
He didn't hire
He put it all together, man.
He put nothing together.
Anyways,
he plays with Lincoln Logs.
You could say he missed out on Burnett to start the season, but he signed with Philly for 2 years, $16 million a year. And how can you like that offer right now?
Yeah, 2 years was a little shaky. Definitely 1 year, $16 million. I mean, I get it. It's not my money, so I don't care if Bob Nutting has to give up an extra $2 million. You could say Burnett had a bad year, but I mean, does he have the hernia injury if he stays here? Like, there's a couple different variables there. I liked Burnett from his veteran leadership and, you know, and his clubhouse presence, maybe more than his actual play on the mound. And I know you don't just go throw money at guys because they're a good leader in the clubhouse, but I don't know, I think he would have been a good third, probably the best third starter in the National League if he'd have come back with us.
I disagree with that. I think Volk has outpitched Burnett, and just because he costs less doesn't mean it wasn't the better move.
I mean, I get that, but that's my point, man. Who knows if Volquez would have pitched this good if he wasn't in Pittsburgh? You know, say he went somewhere else and didn't. So, you know, maybe being in Pittsburgh is what made Burnett good, and that's why he wasn't as good out in Philly. You know, he pitched well his years here.
It's understandable in that you got to give credit to Ray Searage on that. That guy is a genius in turning pitchers' careers around, really.
I mean, he does a good job. He gets guys, you know, rights that ship and gets them in the right direction.
But yeah, they didn't spend money in the offseason. They put offers out to Burnett and Josh Johnson. He went down with Tommy John early, so it'd have been worthless. And then they were going to get James Loney at first base, and he's garbage too, to tell you the truth.
I mean, yeah, the Josh Johnson injury, you can't predict injury, man. You know, you could sign somebody. So,
you're right,
you know,
but
I mean,
he wasn't that good before either.
Right.
Sort of like Volquez. He had high upside, but he wasn't doing that good. They probably thought Ray Searage could have made something happen with him.
And I did want Loney. I thought the Pirates purposely only offered just enough to lose, so it looked like to the fans that they tried. But, oh, we fell a little short.
He actually took less money to go to Tampa Bay, though, because he wanted to stay with his home team. So you can't fault him for that, and I wouldn't fault the Pirates for that either.
I'm just saying, you know, the Pirates went out and they offered a lot of money to Russell Martin, and look how that turned out. Sometimes you got to pick those guys. And I know, you know, Loney had a down year, so it probably wouldn't have turned out as well as Russell Martin. But in the offseason, before all this happened, you know, to me it looked like a good move. But that's why I talk football and not baseball.
Yeah, and the Pirates came into the season not looking too great at first base. They started with Travis Ishikawa.
Yeah, the guy from Major League 2.
He started out all right, but you know what? Everybody sort of knew this guy was going to fall off a cliff, and he is garbage just like everyone thought.
How long did it take him? Like 3 weeks before they finally gave up on him?
Yeah, that's a good time to give up. Anyways, they brought in Ike Davis then. I had high hopes for him. He was a huge power hitter before he came here, low average, but
big bat, you know, left-handed. He should be able to hit it over that right porch.
Yeah, and he had that grand slam right when he came here.
Yeah.
It all looked good, but he's just an on-base guy, which is better than I thought because he wasn't taking walks early in his career, so his walks went up, but his power has pretty much disappeared. I know recently it's been a little better, but Ike Davis isn't a great player, but he's better than James Loney, so they did the best they could.
He is what he is. He was the best thing they had at the position. I think he's garbage. I think it's hilarious that they're stuck with somebody who's garbage. I can't understand why the Pirates are like the only team in the league who can't find a left-handed power hitter that could hit just for power consistently, even if not. And I know Pedro, whatever. But like that short porch in right field is just like it should be a buffet line for left-handed power hitters, man. And we just can't get it right.
To tell you the truth, man, it seems like it's what the Pirates do is they try to change their hitters to become more on-base players and average hitters, and they change batting stances and it's not good for these power-hitting first basemen that just want to pull the ball over the fence.
Yeah, just let them do it. Let your other guys hit for average, man. You need one guy that can change the game with a swing of the bat. One swing, not a whole bunch of swings.
I mean, Steve Pearce or Brandon Moss would be great first basemen right now. They had them at one time, but they let them go because they weren't getting it done, and then they went back to their batting stance where they're just trying to pull the ball, and they became big power hitters.
Yeah, and that's what the Pirates need. They don't have a power at either corner at first base or third base. Jay Hay was in the run for batting title. He lost to Morneau, haha. But he's not a power hitter. He gets some, and I'm not hating on the dude. He had a great season. He definitely came out of nowhere with the season that he had. But I mean, even at left field, Marte, he's been on fire since the All-Star break. And we just have no power hitters, man. Alvarez just fell off the map throwing the ball all over the place. And then he got that mysterious
Well, let me
foot
tell you,
injury.
man, the Pirates have the most players with double-digit home runs this year in franchise history. So you can't say the power is not there, really. It's just not coming from one or two people. It's coming from everyone.
Yeah, I get it.
And hey, top 3 offense in the NL this season. How can you be upset with that?
I'm not upset with it. I just still don't really like him.
And don't forget, we were supposed to have big power from Alvarez, but he had those terrible throwing problems this season.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Where was he throwing the ball, dude? It was all over the place.
It seemed like his power was still there. It was just in his head. I don't know. It was in his head, man.
I think the on-the-field struggles definitely messed with his head when he was batting. The pressure from the media, the pressure from fans, the pressure he puts on himself. These athletes don't like to struggle. They don't know what it's like to struggle. If you make it to Major League Baseball, you're obviously good at what you do, and you were probably almost always the best player on your team coming up through little kid, high school, college, and they're not used to going out there and not performing. So it definitely messes with their psyche.
But really, that's how we find Jay Hay, though, as being an everyday starter. He turned into one of the best overall players in the MLB, really.
Yeah, he definitely fit in well. He came in. I don't know if he caught lightning in a bottle and if he's going to do this again next year. I personally don't think he's going to do it again next year, but a lot of people say I'm wrong, and I'm usually wrong, so maybe he will do it next year.
Yeah, I mean, people were saying he was a flash in the pan, but I don't know how long a flash in the pan lasts because he almost won the batting title this season, and he is a magician in the rundown.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and he runs out of the baseline, and they don't call him out.
He
That's
wasn't
the
out
only
of the
reason.
baseline.
He was out of the baseline. He dives around, he flops around out there like a fish out of water. I don't know what he's doing.
But anyways, then they finally put Alvarez at first base, and he started hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and all besides the first game he played there, he looked better than average at first base, I would say, but then the big injury happened, and that was it for that. But maybe next season that is our first baseman, him at first, and Harrison at third, Mercer and Walker in the middle infield. I mean, it sounds good to me.
I don't think they're gonna. Is Walker a free agent this year, or is it after next year? It's after this
he's
year.
not. He's not a free agent this year.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's going to arbitration one more time, and then he'll be a free agent. But he's going to make big money in arbitration anyways. And they could let him go if they don't want to pay that, but they will. They'll pay
Yeah,
it.
see, I don't know. Huntington doesn't like him. He even said it when he was with Cleveland.
I don't know how you can not like Neil Walker because
I don't know.
He's one of the best second basemen in baseball. Opening day, walk-off home run, and he hasn't stopped since. He broke a Pirates record for second baseman, most home runs in franchise history.
23, right?
23 home runs.
That's more than Mazeroski, right?
It has to be.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think he'll ever hit one in a World Series because I don't think he's going to make it to the World Series as a Pirate. That's my point here.
This is the year, Neil Walker, 5 home runs in the World Series.
5 home. I mean, if he's playing MLB The Show on his new PlayStation 4, I'm sure he gets like 10 jacks. But other than that, it's just not going to happen.
And then around the All-Star break, we had, well, let's announce the All-Stars first. How about that then?
We had All-Stars?
Reliever, Jay Hay and McCutchen. Jay Hay and McCutchen
I know
are going to
McCutchen
be
made it,
All-Stars.
but I mean,
and then reliever
Jay Hay.
Tony Watson who looks like a beast. I mean, he's a lefty, so that's probably why he's not the closer, and it's Melanson, who has been solid this season. He's not a top-end closer, but he gets the job done enough.
Why don't people use lefties as closers?
I don't know. It's just not a normal thing. I mean, Aroldis Chapman's a lefty, so...
Well, I mean, he throws the ball 800 miles an hour, so it doesn't... That's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, that is a little different. But
yeah.
I mean, we have had struggles in our bullpen. Got rid of Grilly for Frieri, which didn't work out, and then we ended up getting Axford, who also doesn't look that great.
Grilled cheese was garbage. He was too worried about writing his stupid book and his stupid ego. He was such an egomaniac. I don't even understand why the Pirates ever took him on. Closers, I'm not saying they're a dime a dozen, but over my years, even when the Pirates were bad, I've noticed they've still managed to find a closer most of the time. Somebody who could come get some wins.
Yeah, I mean, Melanson filled in well, but it's the other relievers that are the problem, all besides Watson. I mean...
well, what happened to the Shark Tank, man? Everybody loved him last year.
I mean,
They're
that's
doing
when...
that stupid fin thing on their
That's when
head.
they had Grilly, man, and Grilly was at the top of his game. When you lose a pitcher like that, I mean, you got to fill it in with something, and they haven't found it. Hughes has been all right, I guess, but he wasn't like Grilly last season, obviously.
Well, I bet you Grilly was on steroids. That's the reason why he was playing so well. Wouldn't put it past me. He's crazy.
Anyways, move on.
All
How
right.
about
Whatever.
we talk about some of the outfield here?
Some of the outfield, well, listen to this. There were 4 Pirates, McCutchen, Martin, Harrison, and Marte, ranked within MLB's top 35 in WAR at 4.9 or higher. That's the most of any team in baseball, and 2 of those guys are your outfield. So if you have 2 of those guys in your outfield, I think it's pretty solid.
By the time the All-Star break coming around, Marte was looking okay, but
He turned it on after.
Yeah, after the All-Star break, I think he's hitting over 350 after the break. I mean, he looks like one of the best players in the league right now.
He struggled early in the year, which was weird because he finished last season so strong. Then was he hurt, or they said he was hurt, or they just were not playing him for a couple games. You know, he might have gotten Hurdle's doghouse.
Also gave Jay Hayes some playing time.
Yeah. Quit talking about that guy. Nobody cares.
Everybody, this is a Pirate segment. Everybody loves Jay Hay.
Everybody but this guy.
But yeah, you got Marte in left field, who looks like one of the better outfielders in baseball, and then you got obviously the reigning MVP, at least for the next few weeks or
Andrew
until the
McCutchen.
end of the season.
I mean, he's got a shot at winning it again this year, man. Who else in the NL's done that good?
Yeah, but Clayton Kershaw, that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
They
I
want to
don't
give it
know.
to Kershaw this
I
year.
don't like pitchers as the MVP, but you might be right this year.
I agree, but let's move on to right field here. It's Travis Snyder right now, and I know you and Johnny Parlay.
Yeah, Mr. Rosacea in right field.
See, I think differently of him. I think he's one of the better 4th outfielders in baseball. Not one of the better outfielders in baseball, obviously, but hey, he's hitting over 260. He has 13 home runs. I mean, what are you going to ask for out of a 4th outfielder? I know he's starting right now, but Polanco is supposed to be the guy.
Yeah, Polanco came on strong. Didn't he? I think he had the most longest hitting streak for a rookie or something as a Pirate. Am I right about that?
Yeah, he broke a Pirates record for that as well.
And he kind of fizzled out shortly after. I don't want to say fizzled out,
Well,
but he
like
slowed
punch
down.
back, man. It happens. He just got he got a punch back now, but I'd like to see him get more playing time, to tell you the truth, and it'd be nice to see him in a playoff lineup.
The only way to get through your struggles to me is to play through them. You know, it's not like he's out there costing the team games or anything, or striking out 5 times in a game. He's just not playing up to that big potential that, you know, he had built up.
Well, he had a good game a couple weeks ago, and then he hit a home run in that game, but Hurdle put him right back on the bench.
You know, maybe he took Marte's place in Hurdle's doghouse.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to put a rookie in the doghouse. That's not like Hurdle, who, may I say, isn't looking good right now. He needs hip surgery.
He needs to use some of that gum that he chews to, like, stick on his hip joint to help it stay together, because that poor bastard can't even sit down.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad for him, and it has to affect your decisions somewhat during a game. Like, I don't know. When I'm in a bad mood, I'm not trying to make important decisions. I know that.
Man. If I'm not feeling it, dude, don't even come and talk to me. You turn the light on in my house. If I don't feel good, I'll just throw something at you. I don't even care. This poor guy, he's out there, can't even sit down for the game. He has to stand up for 4 boring hours of Pirate baseball and then go stand at a press conference and listen to all these dudes ask him all these questions. All he wants to do is go take some Percocet and lay down.
Yeah, I feel bad for him right now, and he's going to get surgery after the season's over, which is hopefully after the World Series.
It's probably going to be Thursday, quite honestly. He might as well just schedule it for Friday morning or something.
I'm hoping not, but they do go up against Bumgarner, so it is going to be tough for Pittsburgh, even though it is a home game, and they are one of the best home teams in the NL.
You know, for me, I know they're letting Volquez start this game. Am I right?
Volquez is projected to start right now.
So now hear me out on this before you yell at me. I know Volquez has played great this year compared to what anybody thought. And,
Been a horse.
Great bargain. I think he has the most wins on the Pirates pitching staff. But
well, he's the only guy that pitched throughout the entire season.
Right. But he's struggled in the playoffs historically for his career. And do you really trust a one-game playoff to Edison Volquez? I mean, really, when you had Liriano and Cole, you know, I know you were trying for the division, but if you think Volquez is good enough to start this game, you know, why couldn't they have tried to fit him in a little bit earlier or something to win one of those games? I just want Cole or Liriano to have the ball in this game.
Personally, I would have chosen Cole, but really, Volquez has been the better pitcher for the length of the season. You got to remember, Liriano started out terrible. He got hurt. I mean, yeah. Volquez has been their horse. So
Cole and Liriano both got hurt, man. Cole's shoulder went dead for a while. He's worked his way through that. I mean, he was so good in last year's games. I don't trust Volquez. It wouldn't surprise me if the pressure got to him and he was gone by the third inning.
I mean, anything can happen in a game, but even Cole gave him recognition as the best starter on this team. So if Cole's going to give him the go, I'm going to give him the go.
I mean, what's the guy going to come out and say? Hey, my teammate's freaking garbage.
No, they didn't come out and ask him. He walked up to a different interview, grabbed the mic, and said, Volquez has been our guy this season.
All right, well, maybe Cole's just a little sissy and doesn't want the ball, so he's happy that Volquez is getting it.
I think he has no problem with Volquez getting it. He would have accepted the ball. He'd be happy with Liriano taking the ball, and he's fine with Volquez taking the ball. And I am too.
All right, well, I'm not. That's my only point here. I don't trust the game to a guy who has a career garbage record and a career garbage postseason record and has just been pretty much garbage his whole career.
Well, let's face it, he's been a great pitcher this season when he was actually one of the worst pitchers in the NL last season. So I don't think what he did years ago has anything to do with this game coming up Thursday.
Hey, Zach Duke had a great year for the Pirates once,
and if you want to talk about Thursday game, Madison Bumgarner has not pitched well against the Pirates. So if you want to look at it that way, maybe they should not pitch their ace pitcher, which doesn't make sense to me. You pitch your guy.
Well, the name like Bumgarner, I don't know how he ever got to be an ace pitcher because I just assume he's a bum.
Trust me, he's an ace.
Well, I don't know anything about this guy because I don't know who he is, and I don't really follow baseball a lot, but he's probably better than Volquez, so I'm going to say that he's going to win this game.
He is better. I'm not going to lie. He's better than Volquez. This guy is probably better than any pitcher we have on our team, to tell you the truth.
Well, everybody loves Cole. What about him? He's supposed to be the godsend.
He'll take over Bumgarner one day, but not yet. Bumgarner's one of the top 5, top 10 pitchers in all of baseball.
By the way, fans, Garrett Cole looks exactly like Johnny Parlay, if you ask me, just with like a mullet.
They do look similar. Who did we miss here? Who haven't we talked about? Jordy Mercer, your favorite player.
Yeah, career minor leaguer.
Yeah, see? Him and Mark Madden say that this guy is a career minor leaguer. This guy is phenomenal. Defensively.
Phenomenal.
You got to look at the position. There isn't dominant shortstops all throughout baseball. You got Hanley Ramirez, Tulowitzki, who plays like 20 games a season. Jordy Mercer's right up there with everybody else.
All right, whatever you say, buddy. I'm not here to get you all upset.
Double-digit home runs, solid average for a shortstop, phenomenal defense, and this is after a terrible April too. So his average could actually be up closer to 280 if it.
I mean, you can spit out all these stats all you want. I can sit here and tell you that he's garbage all I want because I don't really like the guy, but that's not really going to get us anywhere. He's played well. He's played better than I expected him to play, but you know, like I said earlier, I'm not always right. But I don't
know how we're supposed to get more listeners when dumb people like Mark Madden say he's a career minor leaguer, and then we have the chance to show people the truth. And we got you saying he's a career minor leaguer.
Hey, man, it's just my opinion. That's it. I'm allowed to have my opinion. This is America. And in America, I'm allowed to think Jordy Mercer's a bum. That's a great thing about this country.
Really, one last position player I want to touch on, and probably the most controversial going into the offseason.
Russell Martin, because they're not going to re-sign him and they're stupid.
There you go.
That's it.
Making a quick decision.
No, it's the right decision, man. Who do they got?
How many right decisions have the Pirates made the past few years?
Probably none.
Are
Who
you
do they
kidding
got
me?
behind them? Answer my question.
This is a back-to-back playoff team. They are making the right decisions.
Who do they got behind them?
So whatever the... Well, you know, they can make a deal in the offseason, too, for a catcher.
There's no deal to be made.
But listen, they're going to make a big offer to Russell Martin. But it's not going to be big enough because you can't compete with teams making $300 billion on TV revenue.
Well, dude, when your owner's the 10th richest owner in baseball, if you need to that one time, you can. I'm not saying go out and overspend on every single position, but what this guy brings to the catcher position, if you don't re-sign him, our pitching staff won't be anything like it was the last few years because he's the reason why, not the only, him and Searage both. But Tony Sanchez is not ready to take over behind the plate.
I agree, he's not, but I don't think that's going to be their catcher next season. Russell Martin's probably not going to be their catcher, but it's not going to be him either. The Pirates, they should go out and spend the money when they need to, but they also got to be smart. You said Nutting's the 10th ownest richer or top 10 or something.
10th richest owner in baseball.
I understand that, but that's not all from baseball.
I don't care. I don't care about his money.
Neither do I. It'd be nice if we had a 90-year-old guy who didn't care about his money and would just go blow, but we don't have that. We have a smart business owner, and that's not always the worst thing either because they do make smart business decisions, and if you're still going to win, that's fine.
But they're not still going to win, man. If they lose, and I'm not saying they're going to be 60 and 102 if
What
they don't
did you say
re-sign
they were
Martin.
going to do this season?
79 wins.
And you said they were going to be a bad team, right?
Yeah.
And were they?
Almost. They started out 18 and 26.
Give them a chance before you're just going to rip them. I understand. I want Russell Martin too, but you can't compete with the larger teams. We're still a small market team. You can't forget that.
I understand all that. And like I said, I don't want them to go do it all the time or on every position, but they have to do it this one time on this one player. They did it once with Martin, and it turned out great. They got to do it again.
Yeah, give them credit for overspending to get Martin the first time. Because he was a 220 hitter, and now he's having probably his best offensive season of his career.
Well, he's a clutch hitter,
and
too.
who knows if this is going to happen again. He's great on defense. There's no denying that. He's going to be great on defense. And he got a gun, and he's great with pitchers. But you don't know if his bat's going to happen again next year. And he's on the wrong side of 30 too, so maybe they should overpay him again, but maybe they shouldn't. Let them decide if it's the right move or not.
Well, man, I say it's the wrong move if they don't re-sign him. They
It
need
could
him.
be, but it may not.
Who do they have in the minors at first base? Don't they have a minor leaguer they like at first base?
Well, they have Josh Bell. They were thinking of.
Yeah, that's a guy, that outfitter. They were thinking about moving to first base.
Right, and he does look pretty good.
So you let that dude develop in the minors. You sign Russell Martin to a 3-year deal. You let him catch 1 or 2 of those years. You let him be a stopgap at first base for a year until you get Bell up here into the majors.
Well, let's not forget, Alvarez is
well.
probably going to be our first baseman.
I still don't believe that. I believe Alvarez will be dealt in the offseason. So in my point of view, I think that would be the best move for the Pirates. I'm not saying it's the right move. I'm not saying it's the move they're going to make, and I definitely know you don't agree with me.
Well, listen,
I'm just saying that's my
They're
move.
eventually going to have to deal Pedro Alvarez. But if you think
I know
this
he's not worth a lot,
offseason is the right time to deal Alvarez.
This is going to be when teams that want to get him, that want him, are going to be trying to get him because they're going to be able to get him for, less than before.
Yeah, but the Pirates got to make good trades, and they have made good trades in the past for getting younger players, and they're not going to get it if they make that trade right now. And really, they're going to need a first baseman next season if Alvarez isn't there.
So you let Alvarez play first base this next season because you still, Martin's going to catch at least 1, probably 2 more years before his knees start to go.
See, the problem with playing...
So then you deal Alvarez after those 1 or 2 years. You let Martin play at first 1 year, and then you bring Bell in. I'm not saying it's...
That's a possibility, but I don't even like Martin at first base because his most value comes behind the plate.
Oh, I get that. But, he's a clutch hitter, man. And like we said about Burnett, or I said about Burnett, he's great in the clubhouse. And not in the same way Burnett was. Burnett was like a fiery guy, and he got in your face. Martin is like a father to these guys. They really look up to him and respect him as a baseball player and as a person.
Trust me, no one loves Russell Martin as much as I do. Well, maybe someone, but if it's not the right move, they're not going to do it. They showed that they don't overpay if they don't think it's the right move. Just look at Burnett this year. They weren't going to give him that $16 million, and it turned out well with Volquez. So if they don't want to pay Russell Martin, I'm going to at least give them the chance to make the right move.
I mean, I hear you, buddy, but I just disagree. I think the right move is obvious. Bring Martin back. That's about it. That's as easy as it gets. That's one of the easiest decisions they could have made.
One last thing about the bullpen. Holtzcomb looks like a beast. He came out of the Independent League, and this guy may actually be the answer to our bullpen.
I have no idea who this guy is or what the Independent League is, so
yeah,
I'm just going to concede to you on this one.
It's just some small league. It's less than the minor leagues, pretty much, is what you'd say.
So he's not even good enough to be a minor leaguer, but you think
listen,
he's a Major League All-Star player.
Well, he's come.
You're calling him the best,
come in
best
and he's
reliever
done nothing
in the
but
history
dominate.
Of baseball already.
I've never said anything like that. But listen, he's 6'9" and he throws heat. He was supposed to have control problems, but so far he hasn't showed it, and he looks like he may be our closer next season.
So is he related to Charlie Sheen? He come out of like the California Penal League and then just needs some thick stem glasses and he fixes the control problem?
Play the laugh track, apparently.
Ha 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 ha. Well, that wraps up our season in review for the Buccos. I think I wasted probably 25 minutes of my life talking about this. So Dash, you're lucky that you're a good friend and do all his hard work on the show, even though the website is still not up. Everybody, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube, The Spread, our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. It's good stuff. And Dash, you have a great day, and I will say good luck to you for the Buccos on Wednesday night, even though I
Go Buccos!
don't really mean it quite at all. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for listening.
Take care.